So, Sue, is Daniel enjoying his summer holidays?
Not really. He was meant to be visiting his father in Florida. But let's just say Bob isn't the most reliable. Hello? I'm afraid you're stuck with boring old me for 6 weeks. But we'll have fun.
Sorry to hear about his trip. Daniel seems quite philosophical about it all, though.
I don't want to be here, do I? I want to be in Florida, where I'm supposed to be, with Dad.
I think he's quite disappointed, to be honest.
He spends so much time on his own. You weren't exactly life and soul at his age. When was the last time you had a night out?
Just these 3 you wanted to borrow?
As it happens, rather like to borrow you for an evening, too.
Why are we on the phone to my history teacher?
We just had a bit of a flirt.
Please stop talking now.
If it makes you feel uncomfortable,
It does.
then we can talk about it.
Talking about it makes me uncomfortable.
Do you smoke weed? All the goths in my ear smoke weed.
I'm not a goth.
What are you then?
Dunno.
If you actually thought anything mattered, you'd do something about it. But you don't, because there's no point.
I just want to understand.
Well, you wouldn't, so leave it.
I just wanted us to do something fun, but you're right. I should have known you'd just be rude and ungrateful.
Well, it's not my fault you're the most boring person in the world.
We did once used to have quite a nice time together, you know. What you said earlier about why'd we bother? We're still here, aren't we? We can't muck things up too badly.
You gonna eat that chicken?
No, I don't eat meat.
You ate the ham it was wrapped in.
Yeah, I eat ham.
Hello and welcome to this BFI at-home event. My name is Ali Plum and tonight I'm joined by Simon Bird, Monica Dolan and Earl Cave to talk about Days of the Bagnold Summer. So, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello. So I'm going to ask for that question you kind of have to ask, which is, how did this project come together, Simon? Where did it begin for you?
Well, I read it's based on a book by Geoff Winterhart that came out in 2012, I think. And I think I read it sort of pretty much as soon as it came out. My wife Lisa bought it for me for Christmas, and I was not reading it with an eye on turning it into a film at all. And I sort of I loved it and then forgot about it and moved on with my life. And then in 2014 or 2015, when I started thinking about making a feature, it sort of jumped out at me and I sort of returned to it. And for a number of reasons, it felt like the right thing. I mean, primarily because I loved it, and tonally it was just exactly the sort of thing that I am drawn to. But also, John, on a very sort of pragmatic, boring level, it felt sort of doable in that it's small scale, character led, and not very many characters at that, and you know, British and contemporary. So it felt like the sort of thing that we might be able to scrape together a budget for.
And could you talk to me about casting Monica and Earl? Because in the brief few seconds that I've had, you know, sharing some screen time with Earl, you don't strike me, for example, as an immediate surly teenager.
Well, that's what I think was so great and made Earl the perfect person for it. Really, I think it's so important with Daniel that he's likable and he's watchable, and that the audience are rooting for him, and that there's a sort of. It's weird having Earl on the call as I say all this. I know.
Let it out. Just let it all out.
He's brilliant. He's great.
But there's a sort of sweetness to him underneath all the surliness.
Simon.
And I think Earl he's a total sweetheart.
Wow. We should do this more often.
And Monica was just for me a total no-brainer. I mean, I've been a huge fan of Monica across everything she's done for years, and she's able to move so effortlessly between comedy and drama, and that felt really important for this, where there are funny moments hopefully, but at the same time we want it to be poignant and have a bit of heart to it, and Monica's just brilliant at doing that.
You're both so good in this movie. Let's keep the compliment train
Thank
going.
you. Oh, this is
Because that's what we're all about here, just slapping each other on the back. But naturally, in this movie, you have many scenes where your characters are kind of at each other.
Yeah.
Were there difficult moments in terms of going, oh, that was just the fourth take of me being utterly awful to you? Can we please take a break?
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of quite it was quite difficult to stay mad at Monica because naturally she's a very lovely and bubbly person, so it was quite difficult. But I mean, yeah, we'd stay in character a lot in between takes, and we try and kind of have that mother-son relationship on and off screen. So I think it sort of came along with it that, you know, we get tired some days, and then I think it was sort of like kind of working quite well, and we got all of the nice stuff first, right? So we did all of the, I don't know if that was you, Simon, doing that.
If it was intentional. Yeah, that was useful doing that, wasn't it? Because then we had sort of the bedrock, and then I think there was one day when I said to Earl, you know, it's okay to be really horrible. You're not doing your job if you're not being. And then I slightly regretted it, because sometimes, you get to the fourth or fifth take and it's like, actually, I feel quite hurt.
Yeah, well, it's quite like, I'm just trying to stay in that place as well in between takes, and when you're getting your makeup done or whatever, and in between takes you're trying to stay in that place and you have to remind yourself that you have to be angry. You have to be angry.
Yeah, that's the thing, because in terms of the sort of bittersweet nature of it, and the comedy of it, and with the melancholy of it, I felt that what we were playing was quite earnest, and we were really, really playing for the truth.
Yeah.
And so actually, in terms of the comedy, that was really very much left to Simon. I mean, our delivery was pretty straight, but then just the camera can do so much in terms of you know, how it's asking the audience to focus on it. So I think I remember one time looking down the lens and going, oh, just because of the way it was framed, it was so witty. And I thought, you know,
I think Monica's been very generous there.
No, it's true. No, you've got good taste, Simon. And I, you know, at the time, I think I was going through a really vulnerable phone call to Mr. Porter, and I thought, oh, okay, they're actually sort of laughing at me at this point, but it's really important that I sort of stay with it and how I'm feeling about it all. So yeah.
No, I echo what Monica's saying with the framing. Like early on, there's a shot of the washing lines, and there's a sense of, you know, Wes Anderson and Hal Ashby and all the rest going on here. Could you talk a little bit about the aesthetic you were aiming for, Simon?
Totally. I mean, I will say that shot in particular was just totally lifted from the book. So, credit to Geoff Winterhart for that. I think that was the only shot we lifted from the book. But yeah, I think the aesthetic is just the aesthetic of things that I like to watch, really. And I think a lot of the stuff that I like to watch is quite old and quite formally composed. So yeah, it just felt very natural to do that, and it felt like a good fit for a graphic novel as well, where everything is sort of, obviously you read the book front on, and it's the visual aspect of it and the composition of each frame is a huge part of how you experience the book. So it felt important to keep that for the film.
Can we also talk about your co-stars as well? You've got Rob Brydon and Tamsin as well. I found Rob particularly excruciating in the best possible way. Were there moments where you just had to stop him? Because that restaurant scene in particular he's just too good at that sort of thing, may I say.
No, I mean, I don't think it was more, please. I don't think there was any dialing down.
I don't think we ever reined him in, did we?
No.
What was it like picking out the supporting cast, Simon? Like, were these the people that you always had in mind?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an absolute dream come true. Just sort of picking your favourite comedy actors. So yeah, I mean, those guys were all top of my wish list, and I feel so unbelievably lucky with the casting. You know, for me, there's nobody better out there. As with Monica, I think each of those, Alice Slowe and Rob and Tamsin Gregg, are people that are able to bring a bit of reality and emotional weight to comedy, but are always funny in everything they do. They just have funny bones, and that's inescapable. So yeah, they were top of my list. And then with obviously Tim Key as the fudge demonstrator, felt almost like impossible not to cast him as a fudge demonstrator. He's been waiting his entire career for that moment. And then the other smaller parts as well. Elliot Speller-Gillett as Kai and Grace Hogg Robinson as Daniel's cousin. Those two came through the casting process and just immediately jumped out. Elliot's an amazing character in real life, and we needed a bit of that sort of wild energy for Kai. And Grace is just a brilliantly funny actress.
If they ever remake With Nail and I, and they never will, I think Elliot has a decent shot with.
Oh, he's a shoo-in.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Just slot him right in. Anyway, let's talk more about particular scenes in the film, because I'm imagining there are a few that you're never going to forget. Like, it is a two-hander to a lesser or greater extent. Could you talk to me about some of the fondest memories you have shooting this movie, Monica and Al?
I think the thing that I really love about it is that they're such a duo. They, that they really exist together well, and also they're both introverts, which is quite unusual to have two leading characters being introverts. And so there's a lot of, there's a lot of show don't tell, and there's sort of lots of sort of little microaggressions, and I think filming at Southend was lovely. That that scene where she's sort of trying to talk to him about all the history, and when we filmed in that seaside cafe where they gave us those absolutely enormous breakfasts, that was good fun. But I think that I sort of like the scenes where they got a bit closer, the scenes around the dog, and because the way that they come together is very subtle, and it's the only way that those characters could come together. It's good that no major sort of dramatic plot event happens to bring them together. But
those scenes are really sweet when we're sort of just those little moments where you see us sort of come through together a little bit, or like say something that's where we're sort of on the same page a little bit, and we're not necessarily exactly thinking the same thing. We're not exactly together like that, but we're sort of like a little, we kind of come together a little bit, like just little like gems and little things that happen that make us seem like we're going to be okay.
Yeah, a lot of it's to do I think with giving each other a bit more space as well, because I think that probably Sue's having a lot of trouble letting go of the fact that Daniel's her little boy and really cherished, and Daniel's sort of you can see right from the beginning of the film that he needs sort of a creative outlet. And I think Sue needs to reassess herself a bit more, and
that's
find her own way.
Yeah, that's something I think we actually sort of lost in the translation of the book to the film, in terms of I just couldn't figure out a way to do it, which is in the book there's a few little flashbacks, aren't there, to Daniel as a younger kid and sort of being very close to Sue, and then playing together in the park, and I just couldn't bring myself to do flashbacks or casts like a younger so
I think, but you managed it with moments like all of the time on the wall in the living room is a picture of Daniel when he was little.
I have that painting still. It's on my wall in London. It's a cute one.
Sue will be coming over looking at it.
That fudge scene as well was just unbelievably hilarious.
I think it's just always nice when you go away somewhere on location, because the cast and crew are staying somewhere together. I think Earl is it fair to say you've been out quite late the night before? It was our production designer's
We-
birthday, and you all went to the casino.
That's
We
right.
did go
yeah.
to the casino, yeah.
And we were under. Earl was only. Were you 18 at the time?
Yeah. Well, let's
We
say,
basically had
yeah,
like
I was-
an assistant director who was basically like following you all night to make sure you didn't get into
He like
trouble.
ran in and pulled me out of off the table.
Craps table.
On a lucky streak too.
I was back in the hotel practicing skimming stones at that point, I think.
Yeah, it was like a little holiday at Southend.
Yeah,
you've
that was
got-
lovely.
You've also got, in addition to everything else, Belle and Sebastian, which must have been such a real treat to see it all come together at the end. Obviously, as actors, you don't have the Belle and Sebastian music just waiting for you to press play. I'm imagining. What was it like seeing it all come together?
I think at some point through the film, I think we knew it was going to be Belle and Sebastian. I remember saying to Simon, which he probably already thought of, but I remember saying, because Sue sings in the car, "I Can't Smile Without You" by Barry Manilow, and I remember saying, what if we had a cover of that, you know, with Belle and Sebastian doing it? So it was sort of there, but I think really just watching the film, the moments when the music comes in are so perfect. There's a moment in one of the Belle and Sebastian songs where there's a line about a boy like me, and then you just see the boy who works behind the counter at the burger place walking along, or moments in you know, in Daniel's head when suddenly there's thrash metal, a burst of thrash metal, and you see a milk float going past or something. I mean, it's really well placed.
It's very clever, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any recordings of the kids' rock band and you, Earl, anywhere that we could possibly get our hands on?
No, sadly not. Sadly not. Yeah, I'm glad the vacuum cleaner goes over that part, because I'm not sure how that would have sounded.
You'd suffered enough having to have that greasy hair for all those days to actually sing with them.
Yeah, that hair was very greasy. It was actually clean, but it was made to look dirty in a very clean way, which makes it less gross. It was like, I don't know, it was pretty gross. It looks pretty gross in the you made it look real gross, Simon.
If there's one thing he can do, he can maintain gross hair on set.
You can.
Are there any other bits that you'd love to share from shooting the film? Because so often I think I never ask that question. Are there any particular moments you'd like to bring up?
Well, it's quite a long time ago now.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
I will say, yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, just very quickly, I was very, I think a satisfying moment where it felt like it all come together was for the shot of the ice cream van that the titles go over, which had just been, for a very simple shot, had been just an unbelievable logistical nightmare. And we shot it very early in the morning, and I mean, I'm not having a go at ice cream vendors, but the people that we were dealing with, not fully trustworthy, but you know, making sure that guy got there on time. We had to get this park opened up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and there was
I think we all had to get dressed in I think we got changed in a coffee shop in the loo. We were sort of trying to buy coffees so we could get changed.
I got changed in a truck.
So that one was, we basically sort of, it wasn't in our schedule, so we had to like squeeze it in at the beginning of the day. So it was nice we made that happen. So it's lots of sort of little boring things that feel satisfying to me in retrospect.
It's funny, isn't it, as well, how the bits that you're really worried about sort of seem to go okay, and then some other bit pops up, or some other moment pops up that you think is going to be quite easy to do, and then it sort of takes over the day, you know.
Yeah.
Are there any particular things that you've learned from your characters? Because having watched this movie, it really rubbed in my face that I need to try olives.
Do you know what? I'm really actually. I was talking to a friend last night, and he said he really loved it, which was great. But he also said, you know, when Sue goes on her date, she's not wobbly about it, or she really goes for it. She's really up for it, and she's going to have a nice night, and she does. So yeah, I think that she's she does have an appetite for life, but maybe she's not maybe as at the start as proactive as she could be.
What did you learn from your character?
Wash your hair. It was felt great once it all come out right at the end, and I think just listen to your mum.
Very good advice.
They're normally right most of
Yeah.
the time. I mean, yeah. What you got?
That's rules to live by. I agree entirely. I'd also like to just shout out the cake sequences. Like, obviously, it's kind of a bookend to the whole film. Could you talk a little bit about those scenes? It's not like Bagnold's cake, but you know.
There was a
I
lot
got
of
really
eating.
jealous of your cake.
Yeah.
I mean, as you can see, that was real emotional energy I was using.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
I would say almost the main issue that Earl and I have had in our entire professional relationship has been the amount I've force-fed him. There was a lot of eating. We did a lot of takes. The first bit of cake eating in that cafe, actually, that was a very stressful day. That
was stressful.
We were shooting from outside this cafe, and you could see sort of the high street in the reflections, and we just didn't have basically, it's so low budget, we didn't have the crew to lock off that area of the high street. So people kept sort of coming up to the window and stopping and looking, and we could see their reflections. And so Earl must have got through, 15, 20 slices of cake.
Yeah. And velvet.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's rich.
Heavy stuff. There was a lot of that. A lot of drinking.
The pizza as well. The restaurant. A lot of pizza.
That's spicy as well.
Yeah.
It was.
It was.
I remember. I'm sure that there were several days as well when Simon said, "It's all right. You don't have to eat anymore. That's it now for the eating."
That was a lie.
And then something would pop up again, like Cocoa Pops or
a lot of the food stuff didn't even get used.
No, you shouldn't have. You should never trust me.
Hey, last time. It's the last time I do.
I hear that from so many directors. You must never trust me. That's not the basis of this relationship. Okay, thank you all so much for taking the time. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Again, the days, let me get this correct. I'm sure Simon, this annoys you. Days of the Bagnold Summer. Yep, nods all round. Is available to rent on BFI Player right now. If you enjoyed this event, please don't forget, you can maybe consider donating to the BFI. They are a charity and their venues are closed during lockdown. So your support helps keep them going during this period of closure. There are lots of other BFI at home YouTube events happening all the time. Tomorrow, Robert Eggers will be discussing The Lighthouse with bake director Mark Jenkin. So please subscribe to the channel and come back then. But for now, thanks again, Monica, Earl and Simon for the film and for your time.
Thank you.
See you for the next
Thank
one.
you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye now.